Well, it's time for a random, inconclusive, rambling, totally out of control Project X. Well, I started out by just wanting to repair the interior door handle. And as it turns out, lack of funds and lack of parts sent me all over the place. And so here it goes. The door handle, as is pretty common, was suffering from some broken out plastic pieces. Here's the interior door handle, and as you can see, these mounting holes, many of them had broken out plastic. And there is a company that makes a reinforcing kit, and that's fine and dandy, but it's more money than I had. And I figured, well, I got a shop here, I might as well, do my own fixing. So what I did was, the plastic pieces had broken out, and what I did was sandwich, rather than butt glue a piece of plastic or metal, I sandwiched a couple pieces of aluminum and JB welded it all together. And if this was a common car, I would have went down to the junkyard and got a new one. But parts are kind of few and far between. So I fixed them, and actually I'm pretty dang happy with the fix. Another problem is the little button that holds this little interior door pocket lid had broken off, and it's a little tab that's welded onto this little thing that rotates and unlatches. Rather than take the whole thing apart, I thought, does it really need a button to open and close it? No, so I just took the button off and took the little latch mechanism off, and now you just open and close it. Problem solved. So then I started when I want to put the door panel back together, I realized that the speaker that was in here was a mess. Somebody had hacked out a big hole, whereas this is a pretty good spot for a speaker. They didn't do a very nice job. And to put the door panel and everything back together, had to get a speaker. So I bought speakers, and one thing affects a million other things. The door panel had this bottom vinyl piece had been ripped and torn and was pretty shredded. So to put the whole door panel back together, I was going to need to fix that. So I got my wife to sew on a piece of vinyl that was pretty dang close, and got some 5.25-inch Rockford Fosgate speakers on Amazon. They were like, I don't know, $45, and came highly recommended. And they come with a tweeter, so I'm going to have speaker in the door, tweeter in the normal spot, because this spot in the door panel, there's really not much room to fit a normal speaker. And that made me realize, well, gosh, before I put the whole interior back together, I better figure out what I want to do with the radio. And this is a fantastically engineered car for its day. Many things have, technology's come a long way in 40 years, 35 years. And so I decided to get rid of, there was a very weak amp, got rid of that. There was just a mess of wiring, mostly obsolete speaker and amp related. So that's my pile of obsolete wiring. And I've got my next cash flow situation is happening in a couple weeks, and so a couple of weeks from now I'm going to focus on just doing the labor that doesn't cost anything. As I was kind of digging through things, right under the passenger's footwell is where all of the fuse panel and everything is, and I noticed some rodents had chewed on the wiring. So there's a fairly easy fix. Each individual wire pulls out. You can use a screwdriver and kind of poke it through its plastic connector, and then I just put some heat shrink tubing, and the ones that were a little bit frayed, I put some solder on. So button that back up, that's all fine. And then the driver's seat, you never need to buy new switches unless you've got something that's physically broken, because when the switches don't work, it's usually there's a little rocker contact there, and you pop off the this little switch. You can pop off with the screwdriver, and it gives you the access to those little rocker things. You take them out, sand them off the contacts, put them back together, boom, it'll work fine. The other problem was this was all kind of bent out of shape, and it would get your hand caught between the parking brake and the controls. So took apart everything, cleaned it, lubed it, they all work great. So the seats are ready to go back in. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm waiting to get stereo components in so I can put the interior back together, and then of course wheels and tires, and then I should be able to drive it. So next group of videos is going to be much more exciting and conclusive than this one.